let's change gears a little bit and go to something that we might not have as much of a universally positive experience with, and that's the watch, the Pixel Watch. We have a Google Pixel Watch. Okay, so this podcast we're recording on Wednesday. It'll be out by Friday. So maybe or maybe not by the time you see this, the Pixel Watch review is also live. But in case it isn't, let me give you my upfront 2 cents about the watch, which is that it is a pretty good first gen, slightly overpriced, but still nice experience for a Fitbit / Google smartwatch. And I can elaborate on any of those pieces that you want, but basically it's pretty nice. Wear OS is pretty nice. It's a nice OLED. It's small and really light. That's the thing that I noticed most about it. The battery life is the biggest weakness to me. It is if you actually look it up, it is about the same physical size battery as an Apple Watch Series 8 battery, but it is an up to 24-hour battery life, which is, as you know, best case scenario. Always on display is off by default when you take this watch out the box. And it's a charge it every night type of situation. I had to charge it twice in one day once. The nice thing about it is such a small battery that it charges very fast, much faster than the Apple Watch. I don't know why. I think the charge curves might be different because I found like I'll put the Apple Watch on a charger and I'll go away for like 20 minutes and I'll come back and it'll gain like 9%. If I go away for 20 minutes, this thing is gaining like 45%.
Yeah.
Huge difference. So, it's got the Fitbit stuff. It's got the heart rate constantly going. I say first gen a lot in this review that you'll eventually see because there are a bunch of things that it just strikes me that Google is just finding out in their first generation of a smartwatch. One of the things is like it's pulling my heart rate once every second. Why? I don't know. I don't need to know that. Like, it's cool. It's a cool feature. I have a complication that shows I'm at 60 BPM right now.
That would stress me
58, 60.
That would stress me out.
63, 64. It keeps going. But Apple has known and learned over the years that, pulling heart rate and GPS a lot kill battery. So specifically, the watches in low power mode will just pull way less often. Like, that's how you get more battery out of it. I haven't found an option to pull heart rate less often in this watch. I mean, that's just a first gen thing. The charging situation's funny. It does work with an Apple Watch charger if you line it up perfectly, which is kind of funny.
Sort of. It's almost impossible to do though because the magnets are opposite.
The magnets repel, so it doesn't sit on the middle of the charger, but it will still sit on it and charge slowly. But I wouldn't recommend.
I think you have the Nomad base station, right?
I have one, where you can lay it flat.
It stands
or prop it up.
So I think like the friction of the base standing vertically will
that's about the only way it'll work. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think of this watch. I have not had the connectivity problems that others have had, but I've heard from almost everyone I've talked to about this watch a pretty terrible story of trying to get it connected, or once it gets connected, having a hard time keeping it connected or having to reset it. And that sounds pretty annoying. What's your Pixel Watch experience been? This is my black one. You have the gold one.
I have the gold.
You have the
Daft
silver
Punk
one. We've made Daft Punk helmets now out of our watches.
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'll go first this time. Okay, cool. I've heard the stories of the bad connections. Mine connected perfectly the first time, and the only thing I can think of, I mean, it might be an issue. Austin, when he came over, said a lot of people were connecting it before they got that first over-the-air software update for reviewers. I think that didn't go out till like later that day or something.
I got it later that day.
So I think that may have been some of the early issues. I'm not 100% sure. I did, though, have the issue that you mentioned, which was getting disconnected. And I don't know if this is a Pixel Watch thing or an Android thing, but essentially what happens is your watch says you've disconnected from your phone, and you have to completely factory reset the watch in order to get it connected again. But this happened with me on my Galaxy Watch 4. So I think it's an Android issue, but it is the most annoying issue possible because you have to literally like reset up Google Wallet, redo all your notification settings. And one issue I have with this, if you're going into your phone apps that you want to do for notifications, they're all defaulted on, and you can't trigger all of them off to then just turn on the ones you want. You have to go down the list and unselect every single damn app. there's like 100. It's really, really annoying. And now I've had to do it twice because of getting disconnected.
Yeah.
Other than that, I actually like the size. I like it smaller. I think it's comfortable. I don't
think it looks
dislike
great.
the gold. I actually kind of dig the gold. I think black looks better.
I agree. It's matte black, by the way. These are glossy.
Yeah. I would like to see the other bands. In terms of, I'll save my battery life hot take till later and see what you guys think of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've made it through a whole day, no problem. I'm not a sleep tracker though, so I always charge it at night.
Okay.
Very different for me potentially. And I have brought it rock climbing once for a quick trip. I have like 3 little nicks on the top of it. My only issue is like I was only climbing for like an hour and it already has scratches like that because of the dome shape similar to the Apple Watch, which my Series 6 Apple Watch is destroyed from climbing. I think this thing's going to get messed up pretty hard.
Yeah. I've seen some other people have scratches and dings on the watch pretty quickly.
We'll see.
It does seem like I really like the design, and I also have a feeling it's designed to be like a sort of a, like I wish there was a bigger one, basically. This is a nice small single size and a nice OLED with a mostly black UI, and it's got the Google Assistant thing and the time. It's high resolution, it's bright. It's a nice looking watch, but I don't imagine it as something I would go play a sport in, even though it is a Fitbit.
Yeah, it feels more like a really nice looking. I like the size. I love the size. Actually, I would not want it bigger. It feels more like a everyday smartwatch where you do like some physical activity, like walks or runs and stuff like that. Not the really extreme stuff. One more thing before I let David go over his notes is we found out it doesn't have auto workout detection. I don't mind auto workout starting not having it, but I really, really wish it had to like check if you're still working out to auto detect end, because most of the time if I don't start a workout, I probably was just doing like an outdoor walk and it's like, oh, you're doing an outdoor walk. Do you want to start it? Sure. I wasn't really planning on starting one. But the amount of times I'm tired after a workout and just go like sit on the couch and don't stop it is very often. And I've
stop it immediately and check the calories and read all your stats.
I've already had like 3 workouts that are half an hour longer because I just went and sat down. And then like when I checked my watch later, I saw that I was still in the middle of a workout. So I wish it had auto stop somehow, which seems pretty easy, but
Yeah, something I feel about the Pixel Watch is similar to something that I felt about the Pixel 6 and Pixel 7. And that is, I think the Pixel 6 was sort of like a Gen 1 for Google, a second try at a Gen 1, because they're going for that look, they're going for Material U. Like everything about the Pixel was reinvented with the Pixel 6. Mm-hmm. And a Gen 1 of anything is fairly rough. Mm-hmm. Right? It's got kind of like unfinished stuff because they're trying to rush deadlines. They're trying to fix problems. And the Gen 1 of the Pixel Watch is like a good first attempt that makes me excited about Gen 2. Because everything about it is, I think it's got the right moves, but it just needs a little bit of refinement. The Fitbit integration, for example, I think, and I think I've said this before, but they just need to rename Fitbit to Google Fitbit, and then use the UX design from Google Fit. Because currently, the watch sort of feels like an Android Wear watch that has a layer of Fitbit on top.
It's like bolted onto the side.
Yeah, it's like bolted on.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it. Because it's when you do any of the fitness stuff, it shows like the calories or the steps, but as soon as you tap, it's like launching Fitbit.
Yeah.
Whereas it doesn't feel like a native application that is Google Fitness, you know? And if you're going to use a Pixel Watch, it's kind of weird that it has all this business. I don't think they should get rid of the Fitbit name because it has a lot of really strong brand cachet for people that have used Fitbits in the past. And I think they are potentially going to sell a number of these to people that wanted a Fitbit that was more of a watch. But they really need to fix that because it just doesn't feel cohesive enough.
It's also slightly annoying and confusing having to go back and forth between 2 different apps to check on stuff.
When I was talking to the manager of the Google Pixel Watch at the event, he was like, yeah, we're not really like recommending that people download Google Fit. Like you could if you wanted to, but it's not part of the setup process. And we're not really thinking about Google Fit when we do this. And it's like, You just did an entire campaign like a year ago, like Get Fit with Google, trying to get people to use Google Fit because they like redesigned it.
And it's still tracking things in my pocket with my phone. I have Google Fit on the phone. So I have Google Fit on my phone tracking steps on and whatever else Google Fit takes tracking of. Yeah. But then there's also the watch app, which is like my watch faces, my watch settings, all of those things. And then there's also the Fitbit app, which is where it keeps all of my fitness data and my sleep data.
Yeah.
So which is actually technically also what Apple does, even though they're all Apple apps. So there is a fitness app for closing my rings on the iPhone. And there's also a health app for all the health information and sleep information. It's just not a separate logo company type thing.
For what it's worth, I also think that Apple should just have all of your health and fitness stuff into one app. And it's like if you get an Apple Watch, it adds a little tab that's like Apple Watch stuff. You know, it seems simple, but who knows? Maybe it's not.
Real quick, if you do want to do that, and I didn't get to test it because when I set it up, then my watch needed to get reset. So before, there is a app called Health Sync where you can sync all your Fitbit like recordings into Google Fit. So that it's another app, a third-party app you have to download. Kind of sucks, but I'm sure there's someone out there who might want to do it. And you can do that and have Fitbit throw into Google Fit.
Yeah.
How long till Google just kills Google Fit like they killed Stadia?
Just make it Google Fitbit.
I really think that's the best
Come
option.
on, it saves everyone time and energy.
I'm terrified to like invest that much time into like tracking my entire life in Google Fit, and then Google's just like, yeah, I'm gonna not.
Yeah, exactly. Google
anymore.
Fit for sure. I mean, Fitbit's been around for long enough, and it's its own. Like they have so many Fitbits. I don't think Google ever. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? But I feel like they would be more hesitant to like completely kill off Fitbit than they are to like kill some random Google app. You know. But other things about the watch, I think that the watch faces are gorgeous. I think that the bezel is not a big deal at all. In the renders, it looked chunky.
The UI is specifically doing a good job of making you not think about the bezels too much.
Yeah.
All of the watch faces are completely inside of the bezels so that you go right up to the edge but never see overlap. If you ever scroll through lists and stuff, you'll see the bezel when you scroll, but it's like fading things into shadows in the corners. The UI is mostly black in the background.
Yeah.
They've thought a lot about this. I'm sure future versions will have smaller bezels, but I'm not as concerned as someone. I think this is the perfect use case of something where people on the internet see an image of it and can complain about it, but they don't actually use the product. It's like the Notch. If you're not using the product, you stare at that thing and you're like, that is ugly.
Yeah.
But if you actually use the product, you're looking at the contents on the screen and it's not a big deal.
It's the fold crease.
Yeah, it's kind of the fold crease. The fold crease you actually have to touch though.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's easy to ignore the bezel.
I love how light it is. The way that the latch works for the bands is smart, but I feel like they did it backwards because you currently have to press in with your index finger and then press against your index finger with your thumb towards what you're pressing into, which kind of hurts a little bit. I feel like if they did it the other way, where the button was here and you could just slide your finger that way, it'd be a little better.
I don't think it would work that way though, because the reason you're pushing in is because that's the piece blocking it, right? So you have to push down the thing it slides over.
Right.
Top
I'm just saying they should do on the other side.
Oh,
doing that with my thumb, I think would be
easier
than doing it with my index finger. That's a minor thing. The latch seems cool, and it makes it feel like it's coming directly out of the watch, which I think is very cool.
I really like the way it connects. It's aesthetically very well done.
Yeah, and I like the look of this watch a lot.
It is a nice, lightweight little computer on the wrist.
I had switched to an analog watch because I feel like you can see an Apple Watch from a mile away, and I think there's a use case for a wrist computer. That's why I actually like the Apple Watch Ultra, because the bigger, higher resolution screen is like, this is a better wrist computer. If that's what you want, it does all these computer things. And a watch, I feel like, is more of a accessory. And obviously it shows time, and obviously this is a smartwatch that can do things. But as far as being a computer, it's less efficient at doing that because it's circular.
Right.
But I feel less weird like going out into public and hanging out with people and wearing a circular watch than I do a square watch.
Yeah, I think it's the best looking one.
Yeah, I think it's really great looking. The silver, I think, is probably the worst color, only because it kind of looks cheap compared to the other ones. Like even the gold looks higher quality than the silver.
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah, but the matte black is awesome. So
As usual.
I think it's a really great first attempt. The software is great.
Yeah.
There's a tiny bit of lag occasionally in like random things. Like if you're going from always on display to not always on display, sometimes it kind of stutters open. The apps will stutter open, but it's not that much. In the future, I would love to see a cut down tensor as the
chip.
Pixel Watch chip, because that's what Apple does for the Apple Watch. So
That would be cool.
yeah, I think it would be good for them too, because they could make the unit price of tensor go down. So
Yeah. Keep printing tensors, baby.
yeah, I think it's a good first choice. The battery life thing, really quick. For me, battery life is great during the day. I usually end the day at 25%. Problem is, if you don't put it in sleep mode or bedtime mode when you go to bed, it drains 40% battery, which is nutty. And then if you do put it in bedtime mode, it drains 20%. Or that's what I got. Having to manually put something into bedtime mode every night is not good, because I will forget.
They need to put a setting. If I haven't found it, I'll let you know if I find it. But the Apple Watch, I just have like a time every day where it just switches at 11 p.m. for me automatically. I would hope that I can do that here too, because I'm going to forget one day and it's just going to die.
Yeah, and it's like people always say like, oh, just charge your watch when you're showering. I shower in the morning, the first thing, before I put the watch on. And if it's going to die in the middle of the night, but it's supposed to do sleep tracking, then I can't do my sleep tracking if it's going to die then.
Yeah.
So,
I will say, if you find yourself about to go to bed and realize it's at 20% and it's going to die overnight, plug it in for 7 minutes and you'll have more than enough.
That's annoying though.
it's just annoying.
It is,
That's
but it's
really
like I brushed my
annoying.
teeth and I came back and it was full. It was like ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's my little pro tip, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
okay.
Can I end with my battery hot take?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I want to
please.
see if you guys agree with this.
I would love to hear
Okay,
this.
so, oh man, I hope I don't go that. It's not that bad. Oh, so, as someone who doesn't sleep track, and maybe that's the key point here, I think I'm getting to the point where, as a watch, it either needs to have 1 day of battery life or over 2 days of battery life. 36 hours to me feels pointless, because if I'm not wearing it to bed, I just need it to last through the day. And then if I want something more than that, I want it to last like a whole weekend. So this like past 24, but not quite 48 feels the same to me as just 24. And I don't think there's really any benefit. Like, I don't think the regular Apple Watch battery life is that much better in this comparison for everyday use.
I get the logic.
Mm-hmm.
I think for peace of mind, having you end the day at 35 instead of 5 is nice. And if you happen to have a heavy day, you work out, you go for a hike, you do a bunch of stuff, you'd kill this watch rather than having 5% left on the Apple Watch. But I get the logic of like, I'm going to charge it every night anyway. So I hear you.
Other thing is, you said like 24. If you take it off the charger, say it's a Friday, right? You got to get up at 6 a.m. to go to work. You take it off at 6, you wear it to bed, but on Saturday, you don't have to get up till 8. So if it's 24-hour and then it dies at 6 a.m., but you're still sleeping.
This is assuming not sleep tracking though. So it would be on the charger at night.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So that like,
So you
in
just
that
need it to
case,
last during the
I just
day.
need it to last during the day.
Okay,
I've had no issues with that. I've had double workout days and I haven't had to charge it again. I know you had to twice once.
I had a double practice weekend, but for one of the weekends, I like woke up, got in the car, did a road trip, had a practice, and I think by the end of the practice, I was low enough that I had to put it on the charger, and then I had enough time to charge it back up to like 60%, and then I ran it down again through the end of the day where I needed to charge it again before I slept. So it was like just not quite enough battery to just peacefully go about my day, but that's the price you pay for, a little bit of first gen.
I do have to say, I quickly disabled the battery charge percentage on the home screen of this because, yes, it was making me anxious by the end of the day.
I don't have that.
That's something I've always done
I'm
on my Garmin
67.
and my Galaxy Watch, and I do not do it on this.
Let's end this by saying what all our battery percentages are right now.
All right.
I'm 67%.
57.
62. That's literally a 5% delta between all of us.
That's pretty close. What time did everyone wake up this morning?
7.
6:45.
6:30.
Oh, wow.
We're all.
3
Yeah,
p.m.
I mean, we're all like
15-minute
almost
increments, 5%
exactly.
differences?
Yeah.
So
I slept tracked, woke up, and charged it up to like 88% before I got here.
Oh.
Do you guys find anything interesting in your sleep tracking?
No, but I get a score now, which is huge for me because I can competitively sleep now.
There we go. That's
I
all
got
you need.
77, and then I got an 82 last night. And
Let's
I'm
see.
definitely
Marques,
getting up to 90.
it's already difficult for me to compete with you.
Yeah, who's on the sleep high scores here?
I'm going to sleep for like 9 hours
Oh
tonight.
my God.
Get the highest score you've ever seen.
Don't come into work.
All right, well, thanks for watching this Waveform clip from the metaverse. We appreciate you. I'm sure you're hitting that virtual subscribe button. Also, shout out to the legs.
The legs.
Yeah,
The
nice
legs.
legs, Marques. Have you?
Thank you.
How much did those cost you?
These were $30 Meta jeans.
Meta jeans.
Yeah, they cost more than my actual pants.
How much is that in Ethereum?
I actually don't know. Not a whole lot. It's pocket change.
Oh, that's nice. do your Meta jeans have Meta pockets?
With pocket change. Meta pocket change.
Meta change?
Please
Guys, can we
click the
wrap this
like
up?
button. Please click the like button so I can take this headset off.
Button.
Take
like
me out of the metaverse.
Get me out of here.
Bring us to the real world.
My face is getting kind of hot.
Your legs are kind of...
They better be. They cost me like 5 Ethereum, dude.
Let's close this video before we do the meta pocket thing again.